All right, looks like we're live. I just got in the door, got a bite to eat, been mowing all day today, all day yesterday. Quit just in time for the rain and slid in here. I haven't even looked at YouTube yet. I don't even know how many people are in here. I didn't even put the thumbnail up ahead of time. Oh wow, there's 9 people here. Who all's here? Turbo Tom, 6% recycled. Good to see you guys. Colleen Tebow, Heavens Mopar Scott with an S. Glad you're here. Chucky's Garage. Chucky, I enjoyed watching you haul off that Buick. That was make scrap entertaining. I'll give you that. JB's Little Shop, Pure Pontiac Garage. B-Dub's Garage. B-Dub's Garage, you made any progress on the Duster? I know that was pretty cool to see, doing a firewall, some pretty heavy fabrication. NSB, good to see you guys as always. NSB, I've been mounting mower tires, 6 and 10-inch mower tires. That's always a blast dealing with that. Smoke wrench, Mopar Jeff 604. What's going on? How's Mark's ride coming? Brewer Racing. You guys came up in conversation a couple days ago, talking about your wild 4-speed rides. Rapid Transit J, PJ's Rusted and Busted Garage. Quite a mouthful. Did we get your seatbelt questions answered there, sir? Buff's Garage, Steve Duncan. My mom's watching. Auto Salvage Outlaws. Wow, quite a crew in here tonight. Scarlet the Four-Eyed Cuda, the caretaker and curator of a beautiful red Barracuda convertible. Danny Boyd says he missed 79 seconds. I think I missed 79 seconds. I just slid in the door. Just got here from mowing. Had to go mow 3 yards. Had to mow 3 yards. Had a flat tire on the mower. It's one of those days. But I got them done. Yeah, B-Dub's got some life and stuff. Yeah, I hear it. I get it. I get it. My Dart Sport project is languishing. I've got the house and all that stuff that's still just hanging over me, but I am so ready to make more progress on that. But we do what we got to do. Priorities. New Guys Garage is here. Mostly old parts and rust. Patrick, I've been meaning to holler at you this week. I heard about your mishap on your zero turn. Yikes. Been meaning to holler at you. Patrick is one of those very thoughtful guys like that. So I certainly, I wanted to holler at him, make sure he's okay. The One-Eyed Cat Don is here. Dust Devil Garage. What's going on, Brian? We're at 146. 2 Hacks Jeff number comes up Monday. Then after that, Andy's on the clock. It's all good. I got to say, we kid Brian about the orange paper, but man, that Duster of his is coming together. If you haven't been following what's been going on with the Duster over the winter, you should see it now, because Knuckle Duster's really coming into being a car now. He's got wiring. He's got plumbing. That thing is really close. It's really looking the part now. Buff's Garage, did van burnouts day? Good. Yes. I drove the van yesterday. Did no burnouts. Rob's Rod and Street Cars, the Niles. Bad Tree Production says grass farming ain't easy. Not always. I got to tell you, though, I'm running a new mower this year. Got a rod knock in the trusty old Briggs & Stratton. It's 33 years old now, and love the mower. I'm going to keep the mower. I'm going to build that Briggs & Stratton, but I got a Cub Cadet. And it's real hard to get used to driving. It drives really differently, but does a good job, and it really cuts well. It actually cuts better than the other one. Same size deck, so it's a good choice got an acre lot to cut with that. And made quick work of it, actually. Dust Devils smell like gas and need Andy. That means he is elbows deep in carburetors. That's what that is. So the 318 that we built for our friend Dreadhead Hayden, you see him on here occasionally. He put it in his 72 Dart. He was having this massive fuel dump problem with it. And I told him to pull the needle valve out of the back, and I don't know how it got in there, but there was a piece of shrapnel looking stuff got in the rear needle valve, just hanging it open. He got the timing set. He said it screams now. So hopefully, if Hayden wasn't so terminally shy, maybe we can get him to make some content of this Dart and this 318 that Joe and I did for him. Mopar Jeff said floors will be done this weekend and headliner and put the roll bar in. Right on. Danny Boyd says, if you roll it, is it still a zero-turn mower? That's an excellent question. Scarlet is not a convertible white vinyl top. Right. Got my my wires crossed. Okay. That's what I was thinking. Sorry. Twisted Mopar Garage is here. Patrick said his little roll was a little scary, but good. Yeah, I bet. I've hardly driven a zero turn. I've only driven one a little bit. Can't imagine rolling one. They seem like they'd be really stable the way they're made. Junkyard D wanted to jump in and say hi. I'm glad you're here. Junkyard D's got some neat stuff going on. He's kind of laying in the weeds hiding, but he's going to be surging here pretty soon. He's got good stuff going on. Battery Production says have half the darts loaded for tomorrow. Might rain tonight, so let the less waterproof dart in the HQ till morning. I'm glad you clarified that, because that could have been you only pulled the front wheels on the trailer of each, or you put one on the trailer and left one in the building. So, yes, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, so Blake, you're taking it to the track. I'm excited. See what that car runs. Going to rain here? Yes, it is pouring here now. Tonight, I'm going to go out after this live and put the battery charger on the Jeep, and I'm going to check things out tomorrow. And if I think it's good to, it's been sitting 2 years. I think it's good to go. I think I'm going to take it to a Jeep show tomorrow. So I'm not a car show guy, but I will be tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe I can find me a lawn chair to sit in and find some numbers matching stuff to tell the guys with the white New Balance. Although it's a Jeep club. I don't know anything about them. Never been to their show or anything before. It's a Jeep club. So I have no idea. Will it be military stuff, CJ stuff? Will it be 47 Liberties and 2 CJs? I have no idea. Yes, Danny Boyd. That's my dad's Jeep. So if you want to see the Jeep, you can go. I have a video I put up February 13th. 2021. That video is up, and you can see the Jeep. It's been sitting since then. Battery's going to start with a few 1/8 mile pulls to figure it out. Yeah. Cool. Sounds great. Twisted Mopar says the 7340 Dart is no longer a project for me. I'll be moving on to another project. Be very neat. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, cool. Most of the old parts, and Russ Patrick says his mower doesn't have a roll bar. It went nearly all the way over. The low pressure cut the engine off. Yeah, there you go. Dean Stevens says, this is not your dad's Jeep. The one I'm talking about is, yes. He has 2. Had 2. So 6% Recycled, a guy who knows some stuff about Jeeps, says Jeep events, at least in my area, run the whole spectrum of Jeeps. I have no idea. I don't have a clue. Will it be those ridiculous looking little frou mall walking things like I don't know, like the city building inspectors ride around in. They look like a Liberty, only less manly. I don't know. I don't know. I hope there's like one guy there with a CJ up on 44s or something. That's what I'm hoping for. I'd like to see that. Dean says yes, 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 yes. Jeep guys are all okay. I don't. Again, never been to their show. Have no idea what to expect. No clue. You can't even. There's a flyer up, and the flyer says to see Facebook for more information. Well, okay, there we go. So I went to, and it just says Facebook, then it has some little name, like some suffix or something. All right, well, I Google searched that, found that. That's like some kind of national page. It has nothing to do with it. So then I Googled it. I found a local Facebook page, public page for their group. And it says, if you have information, call or email this guy. Well, I go, it doesn't give me any call, or it doesn't give me a phone number, doesn't give me an email, nothing. So I scrolled around and I found some old AOL email address. I emailed it on Wednesday. I've heard nothing. My nose is itching. I still got grass like in my shirt collar and everything else. When I say I just came in from mowing, like, yes. Dean says he's trolling and misinforming. Well, I guess you got to pick up the slack, right? Maybe some rock crawlers are on. Yeah, you know what? One time I went. So when I was at Virginia Tech, there was a car club there, and it was too ridiculous for me then. This was like the late '90s, and there were a few guys there with their off-road club, and I thought it was really cool. They made a display in the parking lot at the Virginia Tech car show. I remember one guy had a Ram Charger, a 70s Ram Charger, and it had like 42s on it or something. And they had it all articulated up on top of the tires of a Jeep, like they were climbing each other with their. It was pretty cool. But mostly it was just import stuff and all of that. And I remember they used to have an email listserv. This was long before Facebook and stuff. They had an email, and there was a guy. Well, first of all, the email went out to everybody. Says, "Hey, domestic guys," because that was, that was the minority in that group, with the domestic guys. He said, "I'm looking for some seat belts for my dad's, I think it's a 74 or 76 Corvette." Well, as luck would have it, there's a junkyard in that town, Blacksburg, Virginia, with a 75 Corvette wrecked in the yard for parts. It was a show of one. It was some kind of insurance job. The guy had wrecked it, and he stuck a stock 350 in it and took the Corvette engine out, and the fiberglass was just destroyed. It was in terrible shape. I actually entertained buying it, but he still wanted too much. Anyway, it had the seat belts in it, and I'm like, wow, what are the odds that there will be a local junkyard with exactly the seatbelts this guy needs? So I emailed him back, and I can't remember what he said something to the effect of like, I don't know, man, that's all the way over there on the edge of town or something. Like, forget that. And they would do their email signatures. Their email signatures would be something like it would have the guy's name, and then it would have something like 92 Jetta. And then down below that, it would have cam, chip, header, like a list of stuff. I'm like, this is just weird. I think I was on that listserv for all of about 3 days, and then I just slid away. I'm like, this is not my kind of community. Which might be nice, nice people and all that. I just not my kind of car people. Ron English is correct. We have a Jeep club that crawls on each other's tires, talk about suspension. Yeah, exactly. That was definitely the coolest thing at this show. Oh, there was one guy that had a Dart with a 440 in it, shoehorned in with factory manifolds and everything. I don't know how he got that thing to fit. It looked like it didn't have an eighth of an inch to vibrate when it was running. Yeah, but I don't know anything about that, so we'll go tomorrow. We'll check it out. We'll see what happens. 17 mods spending thousands of dollars to go 14s. Okay, I'm not sure what you're talking about there, Thumper. So yeah, we're gonna find out what the deal is with this Jeep show. I mean, actually, it looks like it's gonna be. Looks like it'll be interesting. See if I can find the flyer for it. Hopefully, I can. Hey, Phillips Run Drip and Bubble Company. Glad you're here, Stephen. We're talking about a Jeep show. The import guys used to do that, laugh at them in Charleston, South Carolina. Yeah. Yeah, Jetta with emission cheater device. Yeah, it's just not my bag. I mean, that's certainly cool. They got their flavor of cars, and that's great. The last car show I went to, there was one over here. Well, the last car show I went to was down here at Kiwanis Wilderness Trail Festival, and I put a picture of it on my community page. It was a bunch of A model Fords and like two GMs. They had like a Model A Ford club. It's about 10 cars there in total. The show I went to before that was a Mopar show, and it was here on the east end of town. And it was almost all late model Chargers. And it was wild because you'd see about 15 of them in a row, these four-door Chargers, which, yeah, I think are cool. I mean, for late model muscle, sure, why not? But there was probably 15 in a row, and they all had the hood up, and there was just all of them just like this sea of plastic. There was nothing worth walking up to look at. Nothing. Just that plastic thing that was on top of the air filter. I probably did not spend 20 minutes at that show. I know a guy that was there. Nice guy. He has HMI welding here in town. Good guy. In fact, he gave me the fender I have on the Roadrunner now on the left front. He has a Hemi Superbird, a really nice one. And he brought it from Floyd, 20 miles away on a really nice day. He brought it in an enclosed and rolled it out, and rolled it back. So came out in the daylight to see a little bit. Cool car. But there were a few people there that were, low buck warriors doing the old stuff, but only a couple. Really surprised at that. I see Buck slid in here. Thanks for stopping by. Dean Stevenson wants to know a 318 factory bore in millimeters to 6 decimal points. One more float to set. There you go, Dust Devil. 3 down, 1 to go. Dust Devils, if you're setting floats, you might, you have the drive shaft in that car, because Two Hacks had day 143, which is Monday. He might wind up winning that guess. You're getting really close. Yeah, 6% says, I try to respect everyone's car styling choices no matter how stupid they are. Sure, this is America. You can have whatever ridiculous looking stuff you want to. Phillips says modern muscle cars are cool, but I'm more into busted knuckles. I like the old stuff. Yeah, man, the modern stuff is too modern for me. Thumper says Le Mans body is going back on the frame tomorrow if all goes well. Exciting. Dust Devil says this will be running, not driving. But you're running, and then comes drive. You're getting there. I'm going for a first start. Great. Sounds great. You going to try to do that on your live tomorrow night, Brian? JB says he wants Tony's Hot Rod Garage to holler at him. Please do. Yeah, it's just kind of a rainy day today. The plan is, I know some things changed daily sometimes, but I'm planning to go down and do some stuff with Andy Wood the end of next week. So I should be live from North Carolina on Friday, May 5th. So been a while since I've had a guest on, but we should be live. Hopefully, we'll be live with DV. It just kind of depends what's going on. I know Andy was supposed to be with Micah doing a no prep race tomorrow. It's gotten rained out because the grounds are just too wet to deal with there. Even though the track might be okay from not having rain, probably just not going to work logistically for the track. They've postponed it till next weekend. Kind of throws a wrench, but we will see. Want to do some Casper testing. Shopcat says everyone's entitled to their opinion even when they're wrong. Oh, yeah. Well, I remember one time John Farnham, one of my firearms trainers years back, he said when two people agree on everything, one of them is unnecessary. A lot of truth to that. Shopcat says the Wranglers struggle in the winter. Yeah, but you have real winters there. Like you have waist deep snow there, I'd imagine, in Canada. Phillips Run Drip of Apple says, what part of North Carolina? Andy is in the Gastonia area. He's west of Charlotte. Let's see here. And SB says he's going to go outside and watch a shuttle launch. Cool. Glad the private sector's doing something. We can't afford to do things like that anymore. LP is holding down the grill. Wanted to stop in and say hi. Well, hi, Lars. Glad you could make it by. That LP 94 makes me feel old. I think that was the year Lars was born. That was the year I graduated high school. Thanks for making me feel old, Lars. I appreciate it every time. Dean Stevenson says the U.S. has no monopoly on stupid visual choices. Well, there is so much stupidity that goes around in this country, we don't have to look any further for anything. $6 recycled likes a 10.5-inch tire for snow. Sure. Shopcat's thinking that shuttle might almost be faster than Redbeard's Venom. Well, it could be. That Venom gets up and goes. Lars says, I'm not old, I'm just seasoned. Hey, man, you're running the grill. Get your seasoning together over there, man. Thumper likes a 265/70, 16 on his winter trucks. Sounds good to me. Yeah, Ron English says try 83 for graduation. Yeah. 1983. World was a different place. So Shopcat's saying, I guess if I spent so much money on 33s, I might not have any money left over for winter tires. Tires are not cheap, man. Tires have gotten expensive. Man, everything's gotten so expensive. 38 POS Racing is going to cut a 97 360 and transmission out this weekend. Anyone want it? That's a worthy piece. That's a Magnum. 88 for Patrick. Yeah, a few years on me. B-Dubs is saying bring back the 80s, 86 here. Colleen says 87. Oh, come on, Colleen. You're not that old. Buffalo Brian in the house. Tony says, what hasn't gotten expensive? Everything's expensive. Gene Stevenson, when two trolls join together and agree against someone else's name, that message is their truth. I think you mean their THEIR truth. Like during the Kavanaugh hearings, she told her truths. I'll never forgive the media for deciding that somebody can have their own truth. No, nobody gets their own truth. There's the truth, and then there's opinions. Exactly, Colleen. You're 28. That's right. We won't ask how Damien's about 5 years older than that. We won't ask that. Bumper's going to make a short on doubling the value of a Mopar by filling the gas tank. I filled the tank on the van and I put a half a can worth of gas for the mower, and it was $107 yesterday for 87. Ugh. Yuck. Stephen Phillips says in 83, the K car was the big deal. Yeah, the K cars are, I think they were cool. They were well thought out cars. They were. I've heard people say that the Chrysler Museum, they don't like that it doesn't have enough muscle cars, but there's a lot of things that should be in that museum that people normally overlook. The K car is a really big deal. The minivan, Chrysler invented the minivan. That was a really big deal. Yep, shuttle launch didn't happen, but it will. $100 every time I fill up my pickup. Tony's Hot Rod Garage says, yeah. $100 fill up say, sure, we're awful years back, but now everything else has gotten so expensive around the $100 fill up. We don't complain as much, but it's still just as bad. Turbo Tom said he started working at a dealership in 1984. Man, you remember a different world. Yeah, my van's an 85 and it has too much emission stuff. It actually has a light on the dash that says check EGR. Now, fortunately, none of those lights work, and they're of absolutely no use to me. But there's a light on the dash, and I didn't know what it said. I could just see the lens. So I put a flashlight on it today, and the light says check EGR. Really? You have a light on the dashboard to tell you to check the EGR? And it's got some kind of time delay EGR system, and it's got a little timer. It almost looks like a voltage regulator, but the pins are in line. So it's not the voltage regulator. There's epoxy coming down the firewall. So it's got some kind of electric timer on the EGR. What a disaster. The 80s still had good cars, but they were cluttering them up fast with all the vacuum and electronic doodads they could, and none of that stuff helped any of those cars. Barrow's Garage is in the house. Good to see you. Glad you're here. Wow, Patrick says 26 gallons in the Ram and 50 in the reserve tank. Wow. That's like carrying a 22 pistol for your primary and a 45 for your backup. That's interesting. Barrow's a rock star. He jumps in and everybody's talking to Barrows. Well, I do too. Barrows a great guy. Yeah, Danny Boyd's talking about the epoxy coming out of his Durspark box. Yeah, it's a common thing. I think you should carry an extra box. Well, I mean, you carry an extra set of points. I think you should carry an extra ignition module too. That's just the thing. You should just have one. Wasn't a fan of the lean burn cars. No, and this fan doesn't have that. It actually has a vacuum advance on the distributor, but it runs through a bunch of switches and stuff that controls that vacuum advance. I don't care for any of that. Unfortunately, the carburetor is the last version of the Carter BBD, and it doesn't have the right vacuum port on it to run the regular vacuum advance. So I've got that problem remedied. That was weird. That was strange. I moved something under my desk and it bumped my camera feed, knocked my camera out. Anyway, I'm going to put this in it. I'm going to curve this, get some good initial timing. I'm going to put like a 600 Holly on there, and then I'll have a traditional vacuum advance and everything, and it'll be happy. So that's the plan, and get rid of all that stuff it doesn't need. I'm going to try to clean up some of the routing of the wiring and plumbing and stuff so that you can actually get the stuff to work, which is just a nuisance on vans. So anyway, working on that next, but it runs so good. It's you don't want to mess with it. But most of that stuff's all blocked off as it is. There were 3. So the thing had an alternator wire that got hot. It had some kind of weird splice. It blew a fusible link before I got it. And these people had crimped together a 10 gauge wire going from the alternator or the voltage regulator to the battery. And it had vibrated loose, and it had been sparking and arcing and fried it, got hot, burned through a couple vacuum tubes. It was a mess. I soldered all that, put a new run of wire in there, a fusible link, heat shrinked everything. It's really nice now. Had to find the weird small vacuum hose that's fits those hard lines, those 1/8 hard lines. And all of that is now good. But what I really want to do is get in there and map it all out and get rid of all of that stuff it doesn't need. I mean, half the stuff under the hood's going to disappear. I do want to keep air conditioning on it, but yeah, a bunch of resistance heated up the rest. Yeah, Danny Boyd, it did. It was a mess. I got it fixed now. It's fixed right. So the way I do it is a little different. It's a 10 gauge wire going to another 10 gauge wire. I take the little plastic butt connectors that are made to crimp. I never use them that way. I take a razor blade, split the plastic, throw that away, and then I just use the sized butt connector. And then I put both ends into that. Then I crimp that, and then I solder that, and then slide the heat shrink over it. If you do it that way, it'll last forever. But it was a thorn. Whatever was in the jacket of the factory wiring, I have no idea what it is, but it was making it really hard to solder. And on a tip from Dallas Brown, who learned a lot about electronics in the Navy, he suggested that I take an eraser. He said one for an ink pen, but I got to tell you, I got great results from one for a number 2 pencil, a regular pencil eraser. And that stuff has just the right abrasive quality, I guess, that it took that weird coating that got on the wires from inside the jacket of the factory wire. It looks right, but when I cleaned it with that, it made all the difference in the world. That stuff did not want to solder till I did that. And yeah, Tony says, yeah, because that plastic jacket, all that jacket does, that plastic jacket, is it makes it to where it's harder for you to know if you have a good crimp. And then you can't solder it. When I see that stuff on cars, I'm just like, oh, there's something to have to redo. That's all I think when I see it. Just something to have to redo. Yeah, they sell them without the plastic. I'm seeing that. The only problem is where I see those for sale, they're always in kits, with heat shrink and all this. And so I'm going to go through the ones I have, but I'm going to get those in bulk next time. That's going to I'm phasing out of all of the ones that have the plastic on them, because I have never used that plastic. I'll just do the same thing on the rings, the same thing on the ones with the blade that slide together, all of that. I use all of them the same way. Cut that plastic off, throw it away, proper crimp, solder, heat shrink. I just don't know why people don't solder stuff. To me, if it's not soldered, it's just temporary. I can understand when you're trying to do like a 2-aught wire. That's a whole different deal to try to solder. Wow. So Andrew Nelson got tips as if you're going to run an EFI or plan to run a huge alternator cable. We run a lot of 4 or 6 gauge. That is great to know. That makes sense too. When Andrew Nelson gives a tech tip, note it. Those guys know stuff. I was I was at dinner about an hour and a half ago or something, and I saw a guy walking there, and I mean that was like Andrew Nelson's doppelganger. I'm like, wow, looked a lot like him. Shop cat busy disconnecting batteries. Yeah, I redid the battery cables in the van. I put stainless bolts in them and the whole thing. Cleaned all of it, made all that much happier in there. Captain Deuce talking about using a plastic welder. My friend Thomas is all about the plastic welder. He had one before they were cheap and plentiful. Yeah, Andrew Nelson's poor guy. Yeah. No, he did. He was over to Charlie's. I said, you know what? Today's a cold, rainy day. I want to get some of that potato soup. So I went in there from a bowl of potato soup, and that guy looked a lot like you. Thumper's asking a question: is there a way I can increase the amperage on my CUDA? Is the alternator or the voltage regulator? Electric fuel pump ignition stereo too much for Thumper. I will say, the guys who built my alternator, Dominion Starter here in Roanoke, they know tricks to get the amperage up on factory alternators. So if you have a specific question, if you want to send it to me, I can ask those guys. That's what they do for a living is build starters and alternators. They do a great job. In America, American parts, good guys. Travis is saying 146 days to play. Well, 146 days to just get ready for me anyway. And it's everything's in great shape. I know that this month has just been crazy with weird extracurricular nonsense. But as far as the nuts and bolts of the No Name Nationals, everything's in great shape. Greg McDonald's asking if I've been working on the Dart or Duster. Well, I have a Dart Sport, and I think that's what you're talking about. The answer is no. So today I was over working on my house. I've got some stuff I got to do. I got a house that's about 80 miles from me, and it's getting close. I got some guys helping me do the windows because that's their specialty is glazing windows. And we are about 8 panes of glass away from having all of that done. And then I got a little bit of work to do in there structurally. I need to do some drywall. And then I got very little to do. I can get a final on the plumbing and electrical. And so anyway, that's just been I've been just swamped working on that. When that stuff is done, hopefully I can come back to working on cars more. That's what I got to get behind me. And then we can do more on cars. Danny Boyd says no new window frames. Well, some of the windows are new. Some of them have been reglazed. I actually like the look of the wooden glazed windows. Just depends. On the front, I've kept everything original. On the back, I've got new vinyl picture windows. Andrew Nelson says start with the alternator, but don't forget to get that alternator cable upgraded. We saw 2, 3, 4 volt increases going from 12 to 10 to 8 gauge. That's why we use 4 or 6 now. Excellent. JB says, I hate glazing windows. That can be a pain. I agree. My uncle used to do windows for a living in the 70s, and he would cut the glazing with gasoline to make it easier to work with. Just what he said. I've never tried it. That's devil thinks I'll have the house to. Oh, man. It's just, yeah, got to get there. Got to get there. But today was mowing. And that's the thing about seeing in the winter, it's cold and nasty. But in the summer, every time you come down one time to work, next time you got to mow. It takes me 2 days to mow all that. And then I had a flat tire on the mower, which was fun. So I've got this little jump box, a Stanley jump box. I have had the worst results with that thing. It's got some kind of little computer in it, and you have to hook it up to the battery, and then it senses the voltage and senses if you have it hooked up right. And I can't stand it because it doesn't work all the time like it should. If the battery's too dead, it just doesn't turn on. The box won't turn on, even though it's fully charged. Well, I'm like, okay, it's no good as a jump starter for most situations. Can I still use it to inflate tires? Because it's got an air inflator on. It's got a hose that screws on. And tried to use that on my mower, full battery. I struggled getting a lawnmower tire inflated 10 psi. Struggled. Got it inflated yesterday. Great. Needed to do it again today. I don't know what happened. I got a hole in the tube apparently. Would not inflate the tire. Like, wow. So anyway, meanwhile, Don and Ron English have one of those boxes just like that. They use it and it works and does everything. So good for them. They can have mine and use it for parts. Yeah, Phillips run drip and bubble. I got the best mower ever, my son. I was talking today. I've got close to 40 years experience mowing. Been mowing since I was probably 9 years old, something like that. I mowed a little bit at the house for a season, uh, probably before I moved when I was 11. So, whew, I've mowed a lot of grass. I mean, a lot. Yeah, I can't mow under parked vehicles. Right. Captain Deuce says, heard about Jerry Springer died yesterday. Funny you say that. One of the people I have working for me, she painted Jerry Springer's house years back. They had a paint business and she painted Jerry Springer's house. Said inside the guy's house, he's real OCD about everything. Boy, everything in the house is very, very meticulous. Yeah, Heavens Mopars wants to remodel a garage. Yeah, understood. Mopar Al, what's going on? Ron says that product doesn't get good reviews. It doesn't get a good one from me. Yeah, one I can't says one's compressor, the other. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Danny Boyd, Jerry Springer, a low class act from Cincinnati. Right. Well, I'll tell you what, it was a good paying gig for them to paint his house. That's all I know. Twisted Mopar started mowing cemeteries when he was 12. Yeah, I was mowing early. I was mowing before we moved when I was 11. But then again, 11 years old, I was 5.5 feet tall then. Andrew Nelson says many jump box compressors don't pump air because the connecting rod gets dislodged from the crank pin. This one was moving air. It just wasn't moving hardly anything. It was just pitiful. I'll charge it up, see if it does any better. But it's just, man, I couldn't feel but one mower tire. Jerry Springer got in trouble because he paid a hooker with a check. That's funny. Yeah, I was never a fan of that. our TV just became complete trash and still is. So I haven't had a working TV since 2015. When I do watch it, it's amazing. TV is a sewer today. NSB says maybe a bad reed valve. Could be. This one is actually, it puts some air in, but it's just really, really slow. Really, really, like way slower than it should be. I don't know. Always wanted to have a scuba tank. That could really have some air. Yeah, I've never seen Jerry Springer in person, Danny Boyd. Yeah, Andrew uses TV to watch YouTube. Sure. I mean, what's on TV now? Okay, all news is opinion news. Uh, game shows are just all gay people. That's all game shows are. Fine, but I mean, is 50% of the world gay? Because I think 50% of all game show contestants are. I don't know what's up with that. It's just everything has an agenda today. I just get tired of it. I don't miss TV. I haven't watched TV regularly since 2015, and I don't miss it. This is the only screen right here. It's just YouTube and my phone, and that's too much. NASCAR races. Yeah, I don't watch NASCAR anymore either. NASCAR's just gotten weirder and weirder. Mopars, Mustangs, and minivans asks how we doing. Well, I feel like a possum milkshake today. I mean, you mow 3 yards like I'm mowing in 2 days, and one of them is straight up and down, and it's rough. It's mowing in the rain yesterday. I got the days I got to do it. I don't have the luxury of mowing when it's dry. I got the days I got to do it. Unfinished Project has a Cobalt 40V air inflow. Is it 40 volt? Huh. Just inflates. Yeah, it makes a huge difference, but it still should be able to put 10 psi on that flat tire, no problem. Right, Dizzy? That's yeah, exactly. I mean, but the thing is, it's like my gosh, it's like you never see. There's never no game show doesn't. It's just like really, is it like a requirement now? It's crazy. And then it becomes some revolving part of the show. It's like, what is this? I mean, what happened to when you just had Plinko, and stuff like that? It was all just about the game, right? Dust Devil says idle mixture screws 1.5 turns out to start. Yes or no? Um, that's probably in the ballpark. I mean, Andrew Nelson, if you're listening, that'd be a good one for you. I don't know if Andy's in here or not, or Joe, but I'll say this: that's probably a decent enough place just to start it. And then I like to set it for maximum vacuum, going side to side. I get my timing set, then I set it for maximum vacuum, then I fine tune the timing, then I fine tune the mixture at idle. Then I start working on the mixture, the jets, power valve, and that kind of stuff. Andrew Nelson saying 1.25. I know Jeff Two Hacks did his on 1, something like that. Yeah, 1. Yeah, right. Travis says 2. Andrew Nelson says 1.25. Right. Two Hacks does it 1. That's why I'm saying 1.5 is probably fine enough just to start it. Float set at 3/8. Don't know what you mean there, man. I kind of like mine low in the sight glass or low in the plug. Yeah, whatever. 1.5, 1.25. Look, man, all you're doing is starting it up. So you're gonna hopefully you'll use a vacuum gauge to set it right. Now Thumper. Now remember, for those of you who don't know, Thumper says 4 turns out and back it into my eyes stop bleeding. Thumper's running ethanol, so Dizzy says 1 3/4. Right, but he's just talking about a place to start it up. You're hopefully going to stick a vacuum gauge on there and find out where they need to be. And Fox Can Fix is talking about Weber's, which is a different ballpark still. B-Dubs is saying EFI. All right. Anything against EFI. Just not crazy about all the wiring. It's okay. I like carburetors. So, they're just cool to me. Brian English says, after what I heard today, nobody's got to worry about Jerry Springer anymore. I didn't know anybody was worried about him. Tony's Hot Rod Garage, you've been drinking Bud Light. I walked in this convenience store back home today. Their gas pumps don't take a card at the pump. You have to walk in there, pay for your gas. And they have this giant mural on the wall. And one end of it says Budweiser and the other end says Bud Light. Half of them, like, wow, not the right town for that. Travis has uploaded a video of his daughter learning how to shoot. Well, that's cool. Captain Do thinks I should have a 446 barrel on a lawnmower. Well, I don't see that ever happening. Danny Boyd says Jerry Springer is a city slicker weirdo. Jerry Springer is croaked. He's not anything now. Andrew Nelson says no Bud Light zone at this guy's house. It's a private company. They went with a marketing direction that turned out to be a disaster. Is what it is. I thought it was a disaster, but I mean, it's one of these things. Anybody can say it was a disaster after they did it and lost 17% of their sales. But who in the world thought taking some, political hot potato like that and forcing it on their market demographic was a good idea? I don't know who in the world thought that was a good idea. I think they asked for doing that. Unfinished Project remembers a video of a 5-liter Mustang with a mower deck under it and actually function. Cool. That's neat. Jay's driving and listening. Cool. Dizzy Izzy loved the pic of Blake's oil pan with headers for antlers. Headers for antlers. I like that. Travis never liked beer anyway. Doesn't matter to me. I'm not a beer drinker at all. Never have. To me, I have no dog in that fight. Don't care. But it's interesting. Barrows was never a fan of Bud, let alone Bud Light. Well, I think that the process of fermentation and all that they do to make it, that's kind of the science, and that's kind of interesting. But I'm not a consumer at all. Fox Can Fix It, Scott. Looks like an Office Space reference there. Name was not gonna work here anymore. Exactly. Brian English, glad you could join us. How's your Derby car coming? Brian English is building a 72, I think it's a Mercury Derby car. Where is Chris Greenaway to hear that one? We got Brian in here. Unfinished Project says everyone that says these things don't matter and doesn't concern them deserve everything that's coming. You know what? I agree with that. because there's a lot of people who choose to stick their head in the sand, and that does not relieve them from the incoming. So, yeah, I agree with that. It's kind of like the people who don't vote. I mean, just because you don't vote doesn't mean that you should be immune from the decisions or from the consequences of your not voting. You deserve the leader you didn't vote for. So, that's kind of the way I feel about it. So I agree with that. I think we had a disaster that happened with the local real estate board, and it's because of the apathy of the collective of the brokers. And I think I should have done more to help prevent that. And course is righted now, but it's just we all got to take collective responsibility, and we don't do enough to take care of things like that, like our town councils and boards of supervisors. It's we're all part of it. We all have a responsibility. Yes, Daddy Boyd, exactly. Fox Can Fix It says freedom of speech and expression doesn't mean freedom from consequences. Precisely. Mopar's Mustangs and minivans got to make some more big rig brake shoes. He's fast at it. How many you make in a day, Damien? I know you can fly on that machine. He rivets brake shoes together for 18 wheelers. Tony's Hot Rod Garage, you are correct, sir. Andrew Nelson says we will lose our country if folks don't take action. Well, you're right. We are losing it now. It is in the process of being lost. Mopar's Mustangs and minivans can make 600 brake shoes a day for big rigs. Just remember, when there's a big old truck coming up behind you and you have to stop for wreck on the interstate and that truck is running 70 and it has to stop, it's Damien's handiwork is the reason that it's not going to slam through your car and kill you. It's Damien's handiwork. Cope just got back from dinner. Where did you go? I'm going to guess. I'm not going to say Portillo's. I'm not going to say Aurelio's. I'm going to say that other place that we didn't get to when I was there. That's my guess. Can't think of the name of it. Okay, Fox Can Fix It says, where do we stand on station wagons? Is wood grain on the outside mandatory? What say you guys? Later, M&M. Okay, Don says wood grain only if it's from the factory. Evans Mopar says all it's necessary for evil to triumph is good people to do nothing. I agree. Apathy is a killer. Unfinished projects is they were never supposed to be leaders, supposed to be elected representatives. But there is a component of leadership to the person you elect. There is a component of that. But it is all horribly corrupt now. Danny Boyd saying no on the wood grain. I like the wood grain. Barrow says too many people paid the ultimate price, giving me the right not to vote. I agree with that. Andrew Nelson's got a call today. He's got needs some recovery sleep. Yeah, man. Take good care of yourself, man. Yeah, Brian. Yeah, that's what I heard. 79. Wisdom Mopar says not going to get any better from here on out. Yeah, well, be prepared. Have a backup plan. Enjoy the day. Have a backup plan. Cope says pizza. Okay, so we know it was Aurelio's then. Okay. That is some good pizza. That's some really good pizza. Cope has some really cool stuff in the hopper. I'm not going to say anything about it until he puts some content out on it, but there's some cool stuff coming from Cope Racing Transmissions. One Eyed Cat says piping hot pizza sounds good right now. Yeah, it's good. It's good pizza. Definitely going to hit that again next time I'm up there. Barrows says I always vote. Yeah, I do too. I got to tell you, the establishment picks are not earning my votes these days. It's just bad. Unfinished Projects says all Cope stuff is cool. Yes, Cope does. His stuff is really, really good. Really nice. Really well thought out. His products solve problems. It's good stuff. Highly recommended. Cope did announce a new item on his channel. Yes. So if for those of you who are transmission nerds like me and first responder, those who are just into that, Cope has some new stronger 727 planetary gear sets. And so instead of using like the diesel planetary, this is rollerized, got roller bearing. You can get it in all three splines. So you can get it in the early one, which is like 62, 65. You can get it, or you can get it in the pre-76 spline. You can get it in the 76 to 94 spline, and you can get it in the late model spline because they have different angles on the splines. So you can get it. And this actually gives you more options for the earlier cores. Because if before that, if you wanted to run like a 618 six pinion Planet or something, you had to have a 76 up core to do it to get the spline angle right. And these are rollerized. They cost less than half of what the expensive billet ones did before that. So 4-pinion Planet, billet steel, rollerized. You can get it in all three splines and for less than half the money as the old billet. It's pretty cool. It's a nice thing. Long time coming. Yeah, check it out on his channel. But he's got other cool stuff coming too. Yeah, Thumper, more of a TH400 geek. Yeah, right. I have all kinds of respect for TH400. Oh, yes, and it's low. Yeah, and low gear, of course, you do all that work. Yes, it's a 277 first. Something I did not realize till I watched Cope's video on it is that they used to make the low gear ratio for the 727 from the 904. I thought that was really interesting. Didn't realize they made them that way. Because, I'm a 904 guy, so I like the low gears, the steel pinion carriers, the bolt-in sprag, and all that good stuff the 904 already has. Dakota, any of y'all pushed the limits on a stock TH350? I'd say there's several guys in here that have pushed the limits on a stock TH350. Danny Boyd likes trying different kinds of frozen pizza. Let me know. What is your favorite? What are your top 2 frozen pizzas, Danny Boyd? I'm glad you did the research on that. Thumper had a TH350 that runs 11s with it. His car, the 455, cool. William Sanders says DiGiorno's all right by me. Never had Frazetta. Yep, Brian English just got to duck out because it's 5 a.m. comes early. Yep. I'm feeling like I've been run over by a truck. So, but I still got to be up early if I'm going to make Jeep show. So we'll see. Cement Surfer, how's it going? 146, yes, indeed. Looking forward to seeing you in Sikeston, sir. Dakota wants some numbers. Dakota, if Andy can push a C4 to the limit like that, and Patrick and I can push 904s like we do, you can do a lot with a TH350. Danny Boyd's saying the only Tony's thin crust. Okay. Most frozen pizza, most pizzas don't have enough sauce. Yeah, I guess that's a harder thing to do with frozen. I very rarely eat a frozen pizza. Captain Deuce's Supreme Pizza is more healthy, has all 5 foods in the chart. Okay. Bigfoots and Mopars. Good to see you in here, Mark. We were just talking about your car today since we saw Mopar Jeff in the chat. I'll let you guys know since I'm planning. I got it penciled in unless something changes. I'm planning to be going live from North Carolina a week from tonight with Andy Wood and hopefully DV. It's going to kind of depend on what happened with Andy's snow prep race getting possible. Well, it did get postponed, but I'd say that's going to be part of it. But that is the tentative plan, to be live with DV from his place a week from tonight. William Sanders had one of the new 2023 Dodge Hornets get delivered to my work, and the interior is pretty nice. I don't even know what that is. I don't even know what that looks like. Is it a car or a truck? Dakota, you're not going there in Virginia anytime soon. I'm Dakota, I'm in Virginia. Dakota, remind me, holler at me after this live, if you don't mind, sir. Or I can holler at you tomorrow or something. It's another crossover. Yeah, I don't know. Who's your garage? What's going on, man? Glad you're here. Looks like a Ford Escape. Yeah, they all look the same now. SUV looks like every other. Right. It just looks, yeah, exactly. Dodge Dart was just a revamped neon, right? I think that was really an insult to put that name on a. They should have just left the Dart name alone. J-Bo said good pizza around here is 40 miles away. Okay. Where? Where's the good pizza 40 miles from there, J-Bo? Who's your garage? Saw Brian Cabral driving around in his vet, a Chevette. I like the Chevette. I think it's a cool car. Twisted Mopars is 145 days left. Yes, 145 days, 2 hours, 49 minutes. Here is the flyer for that Jeep show. It says show and shine. Well, I'm not taking them any shine, that's for sure. So we'll see what happens there. Finished Project said that Dart situation ruined my internet searches. I bet. Hoosier saw an LS swap Chevette. It was cool. Yeah, I had a friend that had one that was pretty stock in high school, and I just think they're neat cars. I think they're cool. That's really atop my list of my favorite Chevrolets, believe it or not. Not the very top, but it's in the top five. I like a Chevette. I think they're cool. Dragpack Merc is saying that Dart is better than the electric minivan Mustang. Oh, that new Mustang is an abomination. That's a disaster. Jabo said, "Hey, Mr. Feets." Yep, right. Danny Boyd says it happens when they resurrect the long dormant name. Yeah, why can't we retire these cool old names and leave them alone? I mean, it's like they're getting to cars where they need to give them these stupid prescription drug names. You know, or just give them a string of letters. I mean, the cars don't have personality anymore at all. Why not just give them a string of letters that don't matter? QXG5LMNOP.2, whatever. Cars don't have any personality now. One of Captain Dew's classmates had a Chevette and traded it on an 84 Bonneville. Yuck. There's some old people that live down the road from me who have 80s Pontiac Bonnevilles, two of them, drive them daily. They're the newest vehicles on their property. They also have a 60s Bronco. Looks really nice. Those are their dailies. I've never been able to catch them and talk to them. I want to. I think it's super cool that the newest vehicle they have is like 82 or something. Unfinished project said the new Dart is acceptable when outfitted as an off-road rally car. Okay. Okay, knock yourself out. Ron English said they're called Kia. I guess. I don't know. There's Mr. Swinger. I guess now that they've gotten displaced. There you go, Dakota. I won't time you out. I'll time him out. I guess now that they've gotten displaced and scurrying and they don't have a place to cry on regularly, they've been going everywhere else. Yeah, see, exactly. Chevettes are neat, but lately I've been liking the Ford. So there you go, XR4 Ti, right? Dakota says I'm going to try to go through life with only old cars and trucks. That's exactly what I'm doing. Yes, my newest vehicle's 20 plus years old. Right. I have no interest in modern stuff. Captain Deuce says, "What are the cars you ever hated the most?" Well, I think just universally, any of this modern plastic nonsense stuff is all the same to me. I don't want a vehicle that has a screen in the dash, and I don't. I just don't like plastic stuff. I don't like a car where you shut the door and it sounds like a Honda Civic. I like something where you shut the door and it's got that big, hollow, heavy metal sound. That's what a door is supposed to sound like when it shuts. Danny Boyd says my newest vehicle is 18 and that's too new. I agree. I totally agree. I'm going to try only 50s, 60s, 70s, right? There's good stuff in the 80s too. You can get rid of a lot of the stuff that makes the 80s less reliable and all of that. Really, until you run up to the OBD2 stuff, there's a lot of great vehicles like that. It seemed like once they got that universal component of the computer running everything, the emissions and everything, that's when stuff really went downhill. Dakota likes the ones you got to shut the door 4 times. The one that was famous for that was the square body Chevy trucks when they had fresh door seals. They were hard. You had to figure out exactly how much force to get that door to shut just right without slamming it. Square bodies are famous for that. I've got to adjust well, not adjust. I need to replace the lower door hinge on the van. It's needs to be brought up a little bit. What's that question right here? Mopar 383. I have a 73 Valiant with AC and a 318. The AC is cool but not cold inside. Thinking of changing the expansion valve. I don't know. Maybe. Um, I know just enough about AC to be dangerous. I mean, I took all the AC classes, to graduate, but it's just not my bag. I don't know enough about it to help you there. Yeah, B-Dub says they use plastic to save weight and add 500 pounds of wire. Exactly. Cars are heavier than ever, and they're not made out of anything. Colleen said my first charger almost took my thumb off. Whoa, what happened there? What? Bigfoot's a Mopar at 76 Grand Prix with a 400 used to burnouts with studded snow tires. Ooh, that's pretty wicked. Evans Mopars wants to get the dented 70 Swinger running and park my Dodge Cowboy. Yeah, right. 70 Swinger's a great car. My first car was a 70 Swinger. Colleen shut the door on it. Ooh, man, that hurts. That hurts just reading that. Drag Pack Merck said 3 lug nuts. LeCar had a different wheelbase left and right. Really? So what? How did they stagger the wheelbase on a LeCar? Do you know offhand? And the 3 lug nuts thing was wild. I always thought that was crazy about those cars. Kind of neat. It was neat because it was so different. But how did they stagger that? I'm curious. Yeah, NSB is asking if you put gauges on your AC. Well, right. I guess that'd be the place to start. But I mean, AC, I'm kind of gonna bumble through it, but it's just not really my thing. Yeah, he's saying the high side is 150, low side is 30 degrees. Low side is 30 degrees. Dakota's saying they make some fancy hinges that cost something like $1,200. I would never pay $1,200 for a door hinge. The first hinge on this van lasted 38 years. I mean, one more hinge is going to last me the rest of my life. And here's a trick a lot of people don't know. Most Mopars, the passenger side hinges are the same hinge, it's just upside down. And so when you go to the junkyard, find one on the passenger side because it usually has a whole lot less mileage open and closing doors than the driver's side. So you can get a really nice hinge, flip it over, put it on the driver's side. That's exactly what I'm going to do on the van. 30 PSI, yeah. Okay, that sounds a whole lot more in the realm of reason. Half the weight in the 70s Camaro Firebirds in the doors. You aren't kidding. Man, those cars have heavy doors because they're so long. Right. Captain Deuce said the Imperial had a 5-inch bolt pattern. The trucks have 5.5. Actually, the Power Wagon, you'd have 4.5 or 5.5, depending on the year. They ran a 4-inch pattern up through 80, I believe. A 4.5-inch pattern up through 80. Then they went to 5.5 on the trucks for 81. And the Imperial, the D body, is 5-inch. And it was weird. Australian Valiant door hinges. That's the $1,200 door hinge. $20 for the hinge and $1,180 to ship it, probably. Dakota wonders what car had the heaviest doors. That's a great question. I don't know. I've never seen anybody actually compare that. I would think like a 2-door Lincoln or something might. It'd be some. I would think it'd be some kind of car, a two-door car. Cement Surfer says, yeah, cheap kit on the door hinges, 1,200 to go under the hood. Correct. Big Block 402 says Sport Fury doors are heavy. Yep, I can see that. That would be in the running. Big C body door like that, two-door, yes. Lincoln will have good hinges. Well, they should, but that big old long heavy door takes a toll on hinges. See, I don't know why door hinges, at least most all of them, didn't have a grease fitting from the factory. That just seems like a no-brainer to me. I know people wouldn't do it, but I mean, that just seems to me like they'd last forever. Grease that door every few years, it would last forever. Yeah, Dakota says 1,200, I'd buy another car. Exactly. Dakota says, is there something different about 79 models? Of what? 79 was the first year for the redesign on the Dodge Vans. I know that. 78 had a lot of weird one-year only stuff. Patrick is saying a two-door Imperial. Yeah, that's what I was thinking was a two-door Imperial. Those would have to be crazy heavy. Back then they made the cars, they didn't think they were going to last this long. William Sanders says, yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure of that. They didn't know that the cars to come were going to suck so bad that we would want cars 30 and 40 and 50 years old. They didn't think like that then. Who can blame them? Cadillac 1 has the heaviest doors to the Guinness Book of World Records. Unfinished Project would look into something like that. I can see that. Yeah, that makes sense. Unfinished Project, if you can shoot me a picture of that, I'll put it up. That sounds so interesting to me. '78 had wraparound rear side windows on the long vans. I don't know. Mine is an 85, which has the 79 up body style, and it does not have wraparound windows. But then again, it's a conversion van, so it was probably delivered to the conversion company as like a tradesman, because I know they cut the windows in the side and put the top on it and all. So it was probably just delivered as a regular tradesman, if I had to guess. Yeah, Phillips Run Drip Bubble. I've got a 76 Lincoln Mark IV. The doors are very heavy. I bet. Dean says throwaway cars, unibody Foxes have survived because you can fix them. Yeah, right. I really like the Assault CRV. I wouldn't mind at all having either a really simple controller for the EFI that gets rid of all that stupid anti-theft and all of that, or just a carburetor on it. And with that, you could just service that forever. I know the last generation of Dodge B vans has the wraparound set, right? But they ran that last generation of Dodge B van all the way up to like 2003 or something. What I want to do is find a B200 van and get the 518, the drive shaft, the 9 1/4 rear end, and the rear springs out of it. I'm gonna get mine ready for some towing. B Dub's got his BLT done. Good man. Have a nice dinner. 79 van had the tail lamp change, and 79 had the front with the, yeah, right. 79 wrapped around the grill, but you could run single headlights, all the round headlights, all the way up to 85. The round ones. And that's the grill I need for mine. Mine had the stacked headlights factory. Somebody probably hit a deer or something because it's got a later model 86 to 90 grill in it now. But it had the factory stacked headlights. It was a real upscale grill. I think the grill I want to put in it is a round headlight, like the first half of the 80s. Philip says no one can steal my cars because they can't get them started. Well, there's some truth to that. 38 POS Racing, how about a B3500 van? What year? I need one about 89 to 94, 95. I'm looking for a 46RH. That's what I'm looking for. Big Block 402 said this 69 Fury is an 8 3/4 rear. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Has a good 383. You won't have any problem getting rid of that, Big Block 402. Three on the tree truck presents challenges. Yeah, Danny boy, they did that all the way up to 86 in those Ford trucks. First responders says low side needs to be 42 for the high, 180 to 210 at 1500 RPM. Make sure the fan's on, condenser not obstructed. To me, all of that sounds like the first stuff I'd check. I think it's a 96 or so. What I need is a 46RH. So if it's not the electronic version, I'm looking for the non-electronic. It's a lockup. It's a 727 with overdrive, but it's a 46RH. That's what I'm hunting for the van. And everything in the van runs great. So I'm not in any real hurry, but I do want to go ahead and start working on my tow rig drivetrain. But yeah, the van's really happy. It's got its original 318, runs like a top, got a 999 torque flight with lockup, 8 1/4 rear end with 294 gears. So it's not heavy duty, but man, it all runs really good. It gets decent gas mileage for what it is. Yeah, H is hydraulic, so that's why I say 46RH. 46RE is electronic. 4-speed rear wheel drive, torque rating 6. Yeah, so 4-speed 6, and then R for rear wheel drive. Unfinished project, those make pretty hot little rides right there. The 2-wheel drive Dakotas. And it's not hard to put a rack in one of those. There's plenty of room. What mileage? 15 and a half. I got 16 with the van on the highway last time I checked it. And that was with the vacuum advance not connected at all. I'll get better than that. Yeah, I could do that, first responder. I could do that. There's plenty of them out there, though. eSox 12? No, not really. Not really. I'm going to build one. I'm not looking to do anything crazy. It's going to be a tow rig transmission. So I want to keep the automatic features, keep the valve body just like it is, but I'm going to firm up the shifts, reduce the slipping. Going to have lots of cooling capacity. Yeah, 95 has an RH, but it's 4x4. It's 2-wheel drive. I'm going to do the 9 1/4 rear because that way I can still run the factory 5-lug rear axles, get the capacity, going to raise the gear up because it's going to be overdrive, and I can keep those factory wild-looking turbine wheels. And then ultimately, I'd like to do a 318 stroker for it. A little bit of head work, decent cam. I think that'll be a great package for touring. And I want to, if Mr. Swinger, if you're still watching, I want to do the 318 stroker just because. just so that you can tell people again and again and again and again how it's inferior. I have 3 340s. I want to do a 318 for the van. Arrowhead Garage. Oh man, I like that logo. That is cool. Little wrench into Pontiac Arrowhead. That's cool. I have just now noticed that. Factory turbine. Yeah, these came on. I don't know if the conversion company put them on there, but it's been on it ever since it was new. My aunt bought it new in '85. It had them on there then, and it still has all of them, and they're still all in good shape. I'm going to be really excited to take those off and glass bead them and make them look new again. Dust Devil is going to build a 440 Dakota before the Duster. Yeah, right. That's cool, man. Patrick, that'll be a 4-inch stroker. That'll be a 4-inch stroker. Giving a reason to the haters. There's only, I don't care. I'm just going to do it. It's going to make a great tow rig. I can keep it at 318. Factory 318, Dan, I'll keep it at 318. But I do want to put a long stroke in it. At stock bore, it's 384. At 30 over, it's 390. You can make a 400-inch stroker 318. I've seen a lot of them. That's 90 over. A 90 over 318 with a 4-inch stroke is a 400, but whatever. It's and no more RPM than I turn. I'm well aware I could use a 360, but oh, why not? Why not be different? Patrick is saying have the wheels vapor blasted. I'm down for it. I've never used that. I've only used glass bead. Who does that? I do the glass bead myself. I was just going to do it when I needed to do tires. All right, Phillips. Thanks for joining us, man. Unfinished project is saying Pontiacs are only acceptable in blue. Okay. Do you think that Bandit's Trans Am is not acceptable? Dizzy's going to something in Madison, Illinois. Okay. Blue blocks. Yeah, okay. I like blue engines more than I used to. Very much into the orange, Mopar's orange. Although my Dart Sport ran with a black engine block and heads in the day, and I think I want to put it back that way. Man, will I ever take a bunch of grief for that, but I really do want to do that. Here we go. Heaviest doors. So it's on Trump's limousine. That's the heaviest. And I can see that because the glass in those doors is probably 3 inches thick or better. That makes perfect sense. First responder garage, not sure what you're asking there, but right that we'll do the formula for cubes. I mean, I just know what it happens to be. Stephen, I might wind up needing that. I may wind up needing that actually. Need to find out what converter I need with that. I'd probably like to do the high stall if it's a lockup. I want to try to get as reasonably good gas mileage as I can with this combo. Twisted Mopar uses Pontiac blue paint on his engine in the race car. Okay. Oh, 4-inch bore, 4-inch stroke, 400. Yeah. Yeah, Barrows is saying everyone paints a Mopar orange, but I like the Chrysler blue and red. Yeah, I agree with that. It's lock up for 3,500 Ram. Yeah, that would be interesting. I don't know enough about that though. I need to get a little input from Cope and Mike Iben and try to figure out what I really need there. First responders saying that 413 bore is 413. Yeah. Right. NSB says we got a couple of a can that were not even close, built to 455 and painted it to show the guy and he was not having it. Okay. I had a hard time finding the right color of blue for AMC. The color I could find for it was what's called Torker Teal. AMC Blue is not easy to come by. Mopar Turquoise hard second. Yeah, it's a good looking color. Yeah, Dust Devils says I don't understand people bolt aftermarket everything and freak out if the block's not a factory color. Yeah, black blocks forever. I actually am leaning toward doing a black engine block and heads for the Dart Sport because that's how it ran. Had chrome valve covers, a tunnel ram, and it had a lot of chrome on it, and it was a black block and heads. But that, again, remember, this was an 80s build. That's what people did then. The factory 340 would have been blue anyway. But that's how it ran. That's how I want to do it. Won't have an alternator because, again, that just wasn't a thing then. They ran marine batteries, no alternator. That's how I'm going to do it. Unfinished project said there's a Roadrunner that goes to our local shows as a factory turquoise color. Ha! One-Eyed Cat says my 440 is painted Ford blue. Yeah. First Responder Garage found a secondary filter and assembled it for the race tow transmission. Did a video for tomorrow's upload. Okay. Dizzy Izzy painted his 8 3/4 Chrysler engine blue. Interesting. I don't remember that about yours, Dizzy. Remember the car well. I didn't realize you painted the housing that. That's kind of wild and different. Mopar 383 says, what type of blue can you use for a 318? I need to do my valve covers on my Valiant. For one, what year is it? You can use any blue you like, but there's a couple different shades. Beto says GM was the first to paint them black, or someone told him that. Probably. Gold is a good color too. Yeah, I think gold is good for an accent color. People get carried away painting things gold. I think that gold works best as an accent. Dust Devil says the block being black shows off the goodies you put on. I would agree with that. Again, I don't really want a black engine block for much of anything but this for this specific reason. But yeah. The darts block is B7 blue. Yeah, right. Twisted Mopar garages, I used hammer tone paint on my rear end and front suspension. My advice, don't. So you wouldn't do it again if you had it to do over again, correct? Dust Devil said all Magnum engines are black. Yeah, right. But I mean, all these car engines today have no personality anyway, so I wouldn't use that for anything. Chris Greenaway says 1971 Butterscotch Duster, best paint. Changed my mind. I have no interest in changing Chris Greenaway's mind. Although the older I get, the more I like that color for interior. Barrows says Packard and Study Green was a lot like Mercury Green. I like that green. That's a good looking color. It's a really good looking color. Dougster Wolverine Garage, a.k.a. Doug Narden, a.k.a. the guy who leaves a potato at Cope's door. 71 Gold Duster in butterscotch. Oh, yeah. Sure. Well, I like butterscotch on the Duster. It's all right. Dizzy says keep it shiny side up. Well, what if your car has no shiny side? I got to say, the van, the underside of the van, you would not believe how flawless it looks. It no surface rust, never been undercoated. It's still that dip color, that primer dip. I actually know that I had sent a picture of it to Dallas. I was telling him about it because I was underneath that thing working on it. If I have that handy, I'll share. Would have been when I did that exhaust. Would have been PRI weekend. Why I don't see it, I don't know. But had to be when I was doing that exhaust, and that was PRI. You think anything else I'd have been doing under there? I was really shocked at how rust free it was under that van. Let's see if I can rudely find this and show it to you guys. Maybe, maybe not. It's really impressive. I just don't know that I've ever seen anything that old that didn't have any rust. It's so nice. I don't want to drive it into salt. So Chris Greenaway's talking about Mercury painted them green. How's your paint job coming, Chris Greenaway? I know you've been wanting to get a car painted for eons. Yeah, I did a really rough looking bubblegum weld job fixing the exhaust on the van because I was teasing Andy Wood about it. I said to tell your header guy give lessons if he's interested. Oh man. Mr. Swinger, what are you doing here? I know you're trying to cope with the loss of your hero there, but dude, I mean, all you do over there is make fun of me and talk trash about me and talk trash about the No Name Nationals, and that's all you do over there, and how superior 340s are to everything else on earth and all. I mean, just what are you coming in here for? Never had a good thing to say about any of us for years. You gonna pick up the torch and make dark, smoky videos of your head and in a room that's not in the house that you say you live in? Let's see here. Mopar 3, if you have to show you my Valiant, it's rust free, make a video on it. Tony Napoli says, hello, everyone. Howdy, man. Chris Greenaway says, not at the moment. Got all the trim work, but decided it's not perfect. It's perfect to me. Okay, well, get it like you want it. Craig McDonald, no. I have not. eSox 12, I have a 46 RH core. I'll contact you. Sure, where are you though, man? Because that's part of it. I don't think it's going to be that hard to find. I want to do one in the van. I want to get that overdrive, low rear end gear. I want to make it a good tow rig. I tell you though, it runs so sweet now that I really don't have any sense of urgency to want to do anything to it other than I just know it's not going to be happy towing a car trailer like it is. Yeah, eSox 12. You can always email me, john@princetondragway.com is my email. And it's on my about page of my channel. I'll tell you something, Chris. You talk about the investment in the car. Just remember, you die with something worth X amount of money. Make sure that you're enjoying the journey That instead of just being frustrated with not winding up where you want to wind up and losing out on the journey in the meantime. Shop 209 says, "Yo, what's up, Shop 209? You've been laying kind of low." Good to see you, sir. Shop 209 does some good stuff over there. Check out what John does. He's legit. He knows all kinds of stuff about how to build cars and do them on a budget, a real world budget, and do them right and make your stuff run and last. That's a good channel I recommend. Big Block 402 has got a big purchase happening tomorrow for the Candy Cane. Should be much more competitive at No Name Nationals 23. That sounds exciting. You're looking for that on Steven's channel. Shop 209 says busy with the new career. Cool, man. I'd like to get you back on a live sometime, John. That'd be fun. So Big Block 402's got a video coming tomorrow night or a live feed. Cool. Looking forward to that. If I can catch it, we'll see. But looking forward to that. Tunnel Ram. Well, there's going to be a lot of people running Tunnel Rams this year. Chris Greenaway. Don't lose the journey. Been fixing old stuff and polishing. Yeah, sure. I agree with that. So Candy Cane is going to gain some cubic inches and lose some weight. Okay, interesting. Buff Del Campo. I'm late. Sorry. Hey, man, never be sorry. We're glad to see you here. Glad you could join us, Buff. I was late. I didn't slide in here minutes before this live. I think I was probably 2 minutes late going live, actually. Actually, yeah, about a minute and a half by my clock. Mostly old parts and rust. It's hoping it's a blower. You never know. I know one guy who's going to add a supercharger for this year. That's coming. Yeah, see, Thumper's part of that Tunnel Ram Mafia. Rob's Rods and Streetcars. Rob, you're like 45 subs away from 500. You get a little closer, we'll do a 500 live. Let's celebrate together and get you over the top. 209 says, I'm planning on bringing something to No Name Nationals this year, something fast. Looking forward to it, John. I know you can do it. I'm looking forward to it. Buff was in the shop making it more workable and silver soldering some old radiator tanks. Buff, I need to bring you a radiator. I just think that'd be neat and we could film it and stuff. I have a couple old radiator tanks. I actually would like to find a proper vintage radiator core for the van. It's got a newer radiator, plastic, modern tank in it, and I hate popping the hood and seeing that. I prefer to see the old brass tanks. It's just what it should have. Oh, and they cut the cooler lines off and ran just hoses and squeezed down a hose clamp within an inch of its life. That's what my transmission line pressure and cooler are running through. So, yikes, right? Oh, Bigfoots and Mopar says the Jack Pine Savage eats tunnel rams. Exciting. What's it for? Year engine model. Well, Buff, everything I have is old 70s Mopars. You know that. I've got two styles of radiators for 69 Roadrunner. I got to choose one of them for the Roadrunner. I've got one that's got the rounded top tank, and then I've got the other that's the square tank. And so that's kind of what I'm looking to do. I need a one of those radiators fixed for the Roadrunner. But I'm up to anything, recore them, whatever. I'll spend as much as a new one to save my old tanks just because I like them and I think they're cool. That's what you should see when you raise the hood, is that. I just hate the look of those plastic. And the plastic tanks crack. I've never understood that. You've got that hot water coming back. I mean, your hot water is coming back across your thermostat, hits that plastic tank, and that's where they crack, right there. Buff has a 26-inch wide square tank that needs. No, that might be onto something there. I'm all for that. Chris Greenway hates heater core replacement. I hate heater core replacement. Everything that has an easy heater core to get to, they never go bad. I mean, golly, like the Ford trucks where they just have the box sitting right there. No, it's always the one like a Dodge Dakota where they take a heater core on the assembly line and they build an entire truck around it. Dutch Devil says he bought a brass radiator to swap meet last year, and when I got home, it was filled with oyster crackers. Okay, we got to put that one up. We got to hang on to that comment. That's pretty cool. I've never heard that one. How does that happen? How does that happen? So were they full of antifreeze? Did you eat them anyway? It's a late 60s big block radiator. Buff. Yes, yes, and yes. That is cool. That's what I'm talking about. Had to be mice. Well, okay, but how would you know they're oyster crackers? Would mice carry them in pieces big? I don't know what it would they do? I don't know. Heater core in the satellite is 26 inches long and over $300. Yikes. Oyster crackers are hillbilly stopply. Where's Cope? He would love that. Cope makes fun of those reinforced band struts for the torque flight where you weld one onto another one to reinforce it. He calls that a hillbilly strut. Free Blue Oyster cult listening goodness. Okay. Factory AC car. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, Rob was saying mice. I just don't think I've ever seen that before. That's interesting. Cope said, yes, I do. Exactly. The hillbilly strut. That 904 that we built up there has the first non-hillbilly strut I've ever had. Same thing people call unfinished projects dance moves. Well, that's assuming that anybody's ever actually seen unfinished project now, isn't it? Dougster says one egg white, Dr. Pepper and pepper. Yeah, I know people do all that and people have great success doing that kind of field repair stuff, but man, not. Oh, here we go. So Brian sent me this. I have never seen that before. That's what it looks like when an old Chrysler radiator gets full of oyster crackers. So there you go. Now you've seen it. This is crazy. Oh, wait a minute. What did Buff say there? Buff said, "Stop leak. I've seen it all. Chewing tobacco, cream of wheat, oyster crackers." Yeah, see, Buff did radiators professionally. We have people who know how to do everything in our community. I mean, radiators, transmissions, torque converters, machine work, engine work, upholstery, paint. I mean, there, the, people, everybody has a different specialty in our community, and we have some real talent. And radiators just one thing Buff is really good at, and among other things. Buff's an interesting guy. He keeps pretty low profile. He does a lot of interesting stuff. Had a tunnel ram Chevrolet powered Mercury Cougar. That's the contact picture I have for him. Dakota says he likes stop leak. I'll tell you what, I'm not a fan of stop leak. I've seen, okay, so I had an engine one time I took out that it came from the yard, and it had one of those universal expandable freeze plugs that you turn with a wrench. And I took that thing out, and it was just like packed full of clay mud in those water jackets. I don't know how anything ever flowed in there. Buff says, "Don't ever throw away a brass radiator." No, sir, you are correct. Oh, and that same engine, not only did it have enough stop leak in the coolant, I mean, nothing would flow. It had stop leak in the engine oil too. It was terrible. I have a video. I don't think I ever put it on my channel. I need to find it. When I find it, I'll make a short out of it. I pulled the oil plug out of this car. You would believe how slow the oil flowed out of that pan. Uh, I've got to find that. I'll make a short. This is way before YouTube Shorts were a thing. Buff keeps a low profile, but worked on high altitude stuff. Indeed, right. Buff's got airplane experience. Yeah, see, I'm with Unfinished Project on this one. Some Yahoo dumped pepper in my sister-in-law's Taurus wagon and had a busted thermostat housing. I had to back flush the heater core 5 times. I hate anything to do with any type of stop leak. Totally agree. I don't use any kind of stop leak anything. Cole Layton says my 318 looked like coffee grounds and mud. Right. Big Block got some honeydew list stuff. Cool, man. Leighton Welding just appears for the late shift. Glad you're here. He says stop leak is junk. I have never had any use for stop leak at all. Although I am entertaining using slime in the tire on that mower that keeps giving me a fit. Has a new tube in it, and it still is leaking. And I think what's happened is there's something sharp in the tire that just has nicked the tube on the inside. So, oh well, we'll sort it out. Layton says I might go live in a little bit for some bell housing repair. Right, I'm going to drop out of here in just a little bit. Tires are different. Slime them. Yeah, right. The tires are different. I have never used slime though. I know some people who are all about it. I really was hoping my tube would be fine. I think something in the tire has nicked the tube, unfortunately. So I'll take care of that. 38 POS Racing says patching brass tanks that crack by the ribs is a tough one. Yeah. GM included stop leak with cars that had the 4100 Cadillac engine, Buff says. Ugh. Ugh. That is awful. Leighton Welding spray foamed some go-kart tires one time. Sure. Whatever works. Dougster likes the slime. Yeah, people, there's a lot of people who like them. Unfinished Project says, I love it and hate it. Should take out stock in the company. Okay. I'm inclined to just take the tube out of mine and see what happened. I think the tire's got a bad spot on the inside, probably nicked the tube. That's just a guess. I need to take it down to find out. I did 4 of them, and 3 of them are just fine, and this one got something up with it. So whatever, just the way it goes. Layton says stop leak is great for keeping your mechanic's wallet fat. Yeah, y'all can whatever stop leak you want, knock yourselves out. Not for me. Shop 209 said those Cadillac engines were open deck. They didn't have a deck. Yeah. Yeah, GM had the tablets. I remember something about that now that you say that. Slime is fine until you need to remove the tire. Yeah, I'm planning on figuring out what happened with the tube. Chris Greenaway has a question for the community. He has a bad sun-faded back seats with a stain extractor. I can get it looking good, but the texture lines of the sun fade to die. I don't know what to tell you on that, man. If anybody knows what to do for Chris, I couldn't tell you. Layton got 4 new mower tires mounted one time, had 2 flat the next morning. This mower actually has tubeless tires, which is the first motor I've ever had with tubeless tires. I put tubes in them because at 10 years old, they just wouldn't hold air. I'm like, forget this nonsense. My other one is 33 years old and it just holds just fine. Does exactly what tubes are the way on a rider, in my opinion. Dakota likes whatever radiator gets the job done, gets it cheaply. Right. Here's the thing, though. I was like that till I'd have those plastic tanks crack and fail. So I like a brass tank. Shop 209 said they were hard on cams too. What, the 4100? I don't know. I can't recall ever working on one. It may have, but it would have been so uneventful I didn't remember. So Rob puts the Slime brand tubes in customers' tractor tires through the mowing season. Okay, well that's interesting. So Slime brand tubes have slime in them from the factory. Is that the deal there? First responder likes the all aluminum better. Okay. I like the look of the factory brass. He disliked the 4100. I don't know enough about the 4100. Colleen likes the Duplicolor vinyl paint. They make a fabric paint as well. Haven't tried it. Yeah, I've had good results with the Duplicolor vinyl paint. Slime line tubes. Yeah, okay. That's exactly what it sounds like. Slime has pre-filled bicycle tubes also. Seems like I've seen that. Okay. It's neat. We got a lot of talent, a lot of experience in the chat here, so I really enjoy this. I get to learn things. Put a copper or brass radiator in a 42 Ford Tudor was around $900. Yeah, not cheap. One-eyed cat needs to find a radiator for his 62 Valiant. Yeah, Find one and get it record and keep that factory brass tank. There's a very nice looking radiator tank. I think that's a round tank on that one too, pretty sure. Shop 209, the No Name Nationals, is on the schedule for September 21st through 23rd. And that's the second annual, and the third annual, hopefully, we will plan after that. Hope you'll be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Chris Greenaway says, I'm pretty good at compounding and polishing old paint, and that's it. Cool. That's a good skill to have. Yeah, man. Hope it works out. Looking forward to seeing. I'm guessing you're gonna bring a Nova. That's like what you're known for is your Novas. But looking forward to whatever you do. That'll be cool. We've got more than half the states represented, I believe. I really should make a map of where everybody's from. I know Shop 209 is coming from Georgia, south of Atlanta. Have the color easy to tell if they did a decent job? I don't know. I mean, for the most part, I'm not, don't get too all worked up over nice looking paint. My Dart Sport will have nice looking paint. That is important to me on that because ratty patina stuff was not a thing when that car raced. That was not a thing. People always had nice looking race cars. This is going to be a nice looking race car. Again, it was. It will be again. Anybody from Raleigh, North Carolina? We have some people in that area. I know the Rube Mopar dude is in that area. Buff says, I'm from about 20 states, but trying to make it Tennessee permanently. Yeah, Buff's moved a lot of places. Indirect connections in Wisconsin, right. Gonna have several more from Florida this year. Yeah, we got a pretty good contingent from Florida. Unfinished Project says, Dart Sport. Imagine that. That thumbnail was just for you, man. That thumbnail with Dart Sport on it for this live, that is Unfinished Project's contact picture of my phone. Yep, Layton's from Arkansas. Smoke Wrench is all about the Dart Sport too. Agree. Chris Greenaway is from Canadiaville, Midwestern Ontario. Slant Daily Garage says, I'm here, suckers. Glad to see you, Professor P. We need to get Professor P on a live sometime. I think we need to put that together. I don't ever want to abuse Professor P's free time, but when he has knowledge to share, it's always a good thing. We have a lot of overlap, obviously, with our Wednesday and Friday audiences on Dallas's channel and on mine. But yeah, I'd love to have Professor P on sometime soon. So he says he's down for it. We'll do it sometime soon. One-Eyed Cat's going to be the first car down the track with a Continental kit. Right on. So at the No Name Nationals this year, it's looking like this is really going to happen. We're going to have a U-Haul line up with a 1916 Model T. I love that for so many reasons. I love it because nobody else has ever done it. And I love it because I know some people are going to hate it. I mean, if they hated an ambulance, they're really going to hate that. Slant Daily says there's a live Wednesday. Cool. Buffdale Campos says I lived in Geneva for 15 years. Geneva, Switzerland? Chris Greenaway, how do you know that the door gap is 1 1/16 of an inch? It's just wild that you've measured that. U-Haul will have to park at the other end for the group fixture. You better believe it. Yes. Yes, that is true, One-Eyed Cat. This year, people are going to have to work with us a little better on lining up for that group photo when we call them. But we're going to work on that. You don't necessarily know what you got to work on for year two until you've done year one. So that's one of the many things we're going to fine tune. The main thing is that we're going to have that 440 powered 62 Valiant Norm in the picture. Geneva, Ohio. Okay, I was going to say, no, you did a decade and a half there, but right, that makes more sense. Oh, NSB. That's a story for another day. Lifting a car on a hoist. Yeah, some cars do get twisted up when you lift them up like that. Yeah, Dust Devil wants to be in that group photo. We want you in that group photo, man. Looking forward to it. Got to do it. Twisted Mopar said, "How's Redbeard doing?" Haven't seen as much of Redbeard on the lives and stuff. He's got things going on. Some people have, everybody's got different stuff. Some people, have more things with work and with family and whatnot. And so, it's just people have different times available to them. Some people work second shift. So I'm just not sure. Just haven't seen as much of Redbeard. I have seen him a few times on the live over the season. Talked to him just a couple of times. Seems like everything's on course. He's getting Venom ready for a successful 2023 campaign and all looking good. Yeah, Daniel's been working a lot, right? Redbeard works midnights, yeah. Okay. Yeah, convertibles get all flimsy like that. Patrick and Greenaway are saying that's true. Big Belly Racing, what's going on? Unfinished Project said, if I was smarter, I'd be in bed right now. When I finally crash out for the night, I'll probably sleep like a stone until morning. Oh, it was a hard day, but this is fun. This is a fun way to wrap up the day with you guys. A lot of fun. I know I'm going a little overtime tonight, but I know Leighton said he'd go live a little bit later, so we'll wrap up here in just a few minutes, and then if Leighton's going to run a live, make sure to go check it out over there. Twisted Mopar, by the way, you can still be there, man. You can absolutely still be there. Your participant registration is still your ticket to get in. You just have to have 500 subs to race to do the burnout competition. But you can do it. You can totally do it. Just keep making content. You'll get on people's radars. It's going to work for you. The first 100 are definitely much harder than the last 100. You'll get your last 100 couple of weeks. Your first 100 can take years, but you're getting there. You're making progress. You're a quarter of the way, and you still have 146 days. Absolutely doable. Dougster found a whole box of cadmium battery additive. It'll help keep the plates clean. Okay. Big Belly Racing is looking for an LD 340 intake. A lot of people are. I have one, and it's sitting right there. Slant Daily. Uh-oh. If I hadn't gotten that from Shane. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. I appreciate that much, Slant Daily. Right, Coley. Yeah, I thank you. I'm glad. I appreciate your generosity, but we appreciate you very much in the community, and you share your knowledge with all of us for free. I mean, your tech advice is invaluable, so we appreciate you very much. 6 hours doing body work. Whew, yeah. Some work wears you out more than others, that's for sure. Unfinished Project is talking as much code as Dean Stevenson there, it looks like. I think my blood type is Diet Dr. Pepper. Any of you guys have anything interesting you'd like to plug? We got a few more minutes here, and I'm going to wrap up. Grandson of a curler. Well, that's interesting. Curling thing I've always thought was kind of bizarre. I kind of get the science behind how they do it, but it just seems weird to me. 38 POS Racing, 2/5 of the way there. More 38 POS Racing is going to do it though. That guy's poised to do it. You got your first 200. You've worked and fought for them. You're gaining an audience. You're going to do it. Rob's rods and streetcars. You're going to get there, man. He's got it. He's got it in the bag. Rob, when you get up around 480, see, the thing is, I try to kind of jibe it with how saturated you are in the community. And since you do lives and such, you're pretty well known. So for you, I'm thinking around 480-ish would be a good time to do your live. When it's a newer channel that's close, but not as many people have heard of, then I'm thinking with them, it's more like 460-ish. But for you, I'm thinking get around 480. We'll do a 500 live, and then we'll do a little campaign to send out to all our friends and have a fun 500 evening together. That'll be a blast. Have you and Jason, and that'll be neat, fun. You're real close anyway. Fox Can Fix It made it to work back in the chat. Fox Can Fix It says it's just consistent hard work of regular long form and sprinkling shorts. Yep, agree. Big Belly Racing says, any Roadrunner updates? Here's the deal. I have a house that I am trying to get done. Been doing a lot of work on it. It's looking really good. I was up there today. I was just mowing though. Wasn't doing any work on it. Once that's done, I get to get back on my cars. That has just been crushing me. But that's the deal. So there's no real Roadrunner update for right now, but I'll look at it every day, and it's coming. Hopefully I'll have some Jeep content for you tomorrow. Oh, curling places. Okay, that makes sense. Buff Del Campo wants to talk 38 POS racing. Yep. If any of you guys need to get in contact with somebody else, just shoot me an email or text or something if you want me to give them your number or email or whatever. I'm happy to help. After painting the frame and underside of the body, Thumper worked on the house till 8 o'clock. Yeah, that's makes for a long day, but I get it. What Jeep I have? It's my dad's Jeep. Um, hasn't been running a couple of years, and I'm thinking about getting it out tomorrow and taking it to a Jeep show. So if I do that, we'll be doing a little bit of Jeep content. If you want to see it, I've got a video from February 13th, 2021. You can see that Jeep. Yeah. Buff, if you want me to send it to 38, I'll send it to you. Just let me know. Happy to do it. CJ, yeah, it's an 80 model CJ. It was bought new by the Navy for a shore patrol vehicle. And the thing literally had seashells and sand in the hollow frame rails when he got it. 23,000 miles, and yet had all kinds of rust. No one would have ever thought it was 23 original, but it had the paperwork where they surplused it. It was 23, we had the maintenance log, 23,000 original miles, and yet the frame was rotten on it because it was run on the beach. But it has a factory steel AMC hardtop. I actually had a guy at a Jeep place tell me there wasn't such a thing. And then a few of the older people who were there said, "Oh no, they made them. They're just pretty rare. This one has one, still has the decal on it and all. Has the Navy stenciling still on the hood. Got some steel headlight covers. It's a pretty cool Jeep. It's a CJ, but it was, used by the military." Buff had a little shop fire and a Corvette engine. Andy says, welcome, Andy. Glad you could swing by. Well, the old 393 distributor is in mixed up, boss. What could go wrong? More bad decisions? That was the 393 distributor that did this? Oh, what could go wrong? Unfinished project. You need to check your P.O. box. So you took that progressive ignition stuff out of your mixed up, boss? Yeah. And stranded us on the dyno. Was that the same distributor? Oh, I guess it was. I didn't think about that. Didn't think about that. That wasn't the distributor's fault, though, was it? Wasn't that a weird box they had on the dyno to hook up to it? Wasn't that what the deal was with that? Dougster says, Andy, you roll the dice. That's all. We all do it. Indeed, we do. Cope says Jeep. I'm telling you what, we're gonna see what happens. Some Jeep stuff might be happening tomorrow. We're gonna see. I'll know by mid-morning. Saying he's waiting on the distributor gear for the progressive distributor. Okay. Progression distributor, I should say. Kind of modern for me, but it is interesting. He can use his phone and set the timing. It's pretty cool. Got to admit that. Yeah, Buff, the 59 Chevy 38 POS Racing, that will be correct. He's got to get about 300 subs more, and he's gonna be racing it down the track. Always keep your backup just in case. I agree with that. Dial your phone, lose a race. Yeah, I guess you could do that. I never thought about that. Jeep is no cheap. Well, this one, I need to get it out, I need to drive it. It just hasn't been driven in a couple of years. It needs to have caps put on the frame. The frame is rusty in the usual spots on those CJs where they were. They were double wall box frames, hollow, and they will get rusty right where the spring shackles are. And this one needs that. If you were to take this Jeep off road, you would probably put a spring shackle through the frame up into the body. It's that bad. So at some point, I need to do that. And that'll make good content. That way I can have, 500 people tell me I don't know how to do welding and fab work. that's kind of what you ask for when you do videos like that. But I don't care. I'll do it. It'll be fun. We'll get it all clean, put the caps on it, weld them in place, paint it with some POR 15 and call it good. Andy says, I need another CJ7. I built the 304 and it had a 999 transmission and would run mid nines in the eighth. Neat. Spencer's drink reviews and chugs. Wendy took me up the track. Yeah, backwards. Wendy helped chauffeur me around last year, which was invaluable. Man, I'll tell you what, it is blistering bad on feet, being on your feet at that track for an entire week all over the place. It's pretty rough. Thump, more U-Haul racing. We should have some U-Haul racing coming to Sikeston. We should. If there's two guys there with U-Hauls, we might see a U-Haul match race. You never know. Thumper says, I'll bring a U-Haul. I need to find someone to watch my dogs. Yeah. My dog does pretty good. He likes riding in the van. He's got his own seat back there. Does pretty good. The only thing bad is the way the doghouse is made on it. It's not good for him to stand on. He can't ever get comfortable. He likes to look out while he's riding. What I should do is I should put a little box between the seats. And yeah, it would make it to where you couldn't just hop in the back from the front seat, where I couldn't do that. But if I put that box in there for him, he could ride in the van better. And I could always put a lid on it and just use it like a console box. It wouldn't be a bad idea to make. Jethro is a good boy. He was really patient today. We had a lot of mowing to do, and he was very patient. Well, so I need a monkey bike to ride around. It's like, no, I'm okay. I'm not really a two-wheel rider like that, but thank you. No, I'm good. I'm good. Wendy wants to be my transportation detail this year, and I appreciate that. I shouldn't need to do as much running around because I've got some of the things ironed out I needed to run around to do. So we'll be all right. We're going to change the way we do the tech cards and that this year. That's going to help me a lot. And there's a lot of things we can streamline from that. So it'll be good. He'd forget where he parked. No, I wouldn't. Why do you think I'd forget that? I would forget that. I'm pretty good at remembering stuff. Yeah, more time to hang out. Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. But you got to remember, it's there's a lot to do, and we got plenty that we're going to do, and make sure that we can help put on a good show. And it's a blast. I love doing it. You guys just are so much fun, and it's worth it. I'm going to wrap up here. I know that Leighton was thinking about doing a live. There's not usually anybody who wants to go live Friday night, but I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. And thank you guys for coming out. Appreciate you. I should be live, hopefully, unless something changes. I should be live with Andy Wood and hopefully Vizard 2 this coming Friday. So that's in the works, and we're hoping to do a little bit of test and tune and fun stuff with Casper when I go down. So keep you posted on that. If we have any Jeep content tomorrow, I'm going to try. We're going to see what happens. Yeah, Mr. Swinger 1, does anyone else ever leave the house? Swinger 1, I just drove my 37-year-old van to Sikeston back and forth, no worries. I've had 6 trips on it of over 500 miles each way a piece and never had any problems and no worries at all. What are you doing in here anyway? I keep trying to time you out, and for whatever reason, StreamYard doesn't like it. So anyway, displaced trolls, poor displaced trolls. Anyway, Auto Salad Jallas might be live tonight. I know Leighton's thinking about it. But anyway, thank you guys for joining. I appreciate you. 145 days, 1 hour, 25 minutes until the second annual No Name Nationals. Looking forward to seeing all of you guys. And may see you before then on here. Y'all take care. Thanks for coming out.